right, ladies and gentlemen, yesterday we filled out the first part of our note sheet on dilations. We learned about a scale factor and how we use the letter K to describe what's happening to our shape. Sometimes remember the shape gets enlarged, and sometimes remember the shape gets reduced. This will go into our notebook here in a few minutes, but first we're going to fill out the page that goes opposite this in our notebook. The page looks like this. There's 4 questions on the front where there is. All right, now that you've had a chance to try this, let's check our work. If your dilation factor is 2, we're doubling the size of all of our points. So this times 2, times 2, times 2, times 2, times 2. Now we need to carefully plot our points. T prime is located at the point 2, 2, so we'll label that. At negative 2, negative 2, we'll label that. And then at 2, negative 2. So your image has successfully been dilated by 2. It is twice as big as the original image, and that's exactly what happens when your scale factor is 2. Now, for number 6, you had 4 points to look at, and this one was a little trickier because your scale factor was 1/2. When you multiply by 1/2, you're cutting these numbers in half. So half of negative 1 is negative 1/2. Half of 4 is 2. Half of 3 is 1.5. Half of 1 is a half. Half of 0 is 0. Half of negative 3 is negative 1.5. Half of negative 2 is negative 1, and half of 0 is still 0. So to carefully plot these points, if we have to go in the negative direction, half a box, we're right here, and then we go up 2. This is where n prime is located. 1.5 boxes, and then up a half a box, kind of puts point J out in the middle of the grid here. 0 down 1.5 puts your M prime, and then negative 1, 0 puts Z prime. So what you have is a shape that is similar to the original because it's been shrunk down or reduced in size. Always your shapes created are similar. See, it's still a right triangle, but it has been enlarged to make it twice as big for number 5. This one is reduced half the size of the original image. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take out your notebook and you're going to tape first the foldable note sheet from yesterday. This is going to go on page 33. And then please remember to put in your label. A lot of times we forget our labels in our notebook for the title. And the title is really helpful when you're looking back and doing things like quizzes or other assignments to make sure you have that on there. So page 33, you're going to want to tape this little foldable note sheet up at the top by the staples and also at the bottom. And then, because it's so heavy, I think you're going to need to open up that bottom flap and also tape up here towards the top. And then on page 34, you're going to tape the sheet that we just finished. Okay, you'll need to fold it somehow. I know it didn't come out perfect to have it fold in half, but I'm thinking we can figure out how to get this in our book so that it looks appropriate. Nothing is sticking outside the book, so it's nice and neat, and you can still see your work.